Well, this is kind of awkward. Hey everyone, it's Pearlescent Toys back in today's video with another Marvel Legends action figure review. And today we are looking at the Marvel 85th Anniversary CABAL 3-pack, Doctor Doom, the Iron Patriot, and Taskmaster. This 3-pack was an Amazon exclusive, and you may be wondering, why are they already on the display stand? Why aren't I showing it in the box? And that's because I've already recorded this video, but unfortunately I accidentally deleted it, the entire thing. Here I am remaking that very video. These are some of the most iconic villains in all of Marvel, so yeah, I'm just really excited to get my hands on these. Let's kick things off by looking at the man of the hour, Doctor Doom. Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Doctor Doom would make his very first appearance in the Fantastic Four issue number 5 in 1962. Anyways, looking at the figure itself, and it is molded in a nice silver plastic, marbleized. If that bothers you, there's that. You can see it in the knee pad right there, especially. Looking at the armor itself, and it just looks really medieval like, and I love the latches going down the side of the legs right here, pinned, but it's kind of well hidden by those plates. It covers up at least half of the pegs right there, and you get some like bolts going onto the side of it and even on the bottom of the shoes. And this is really nice attention to detail. There's chainmail in all of the joints, so there's the ankle, there's the back of the knees, you can see it especially well, and just going up north real quick, you can see it in the elbow joints as well, and even underneath the arms. I think that is such an incredible addition to the sculpt. Overall, I am loving the legs, and then we get up to the skirt piece, and this is a place where the previous Doctor Dooms have failed. They had their skirt pieces going down a little longer, almost down to the knees, and it looks fine and all, but it just inhibited the articulation so much. So yeah, this time we get that more iconic look of like the shorter skirt, and one that isn't so long. I love the sculpt of this. I love the cloth like texturing to it, and all the wrinkles all throughout makes it look really good. And the cut right here, it actually overlaps with this side, so you don't get like this piece that's missing right here. It's pretty seamless, actually. It looks really great. Here is a holster for his pistol. Why does he have a pistol? This dude is one of the most powerful magic users in the Marvel universe. So why does he have a freaking gun? I don't know. Maybe for when magic just isn't doing the job. But yeah, the holster has his Doom logo. Doom logo. Doom logo. Doom logo.
Doom logo. Doom logo. Doom logo.
Doom logo right there on the side, and is sculpted with a nice leathery texture to it, including the belt right here, which looks fantastic. I love the brown used, that chestnut brown color, and the buckle itself. You could just see those like really ornate, just fancy details in that sculpt right there, and even the little latch that hooks on right there, those are painted in as well. Great attention to detail. And then we move up to the chest, and again, just filled with so much sculpting detail. I love the laces up here, which were not painted on either of the previous versions, but here you can see it's painted brown. The clasps as well for the cape are molded in a nice gold color. You could see marbleization. If that bothers you, there's that, but you know, it doesn't really bother me. And again, that continues with that cloth sculpting, and it continues onto the back as well. Random peg hole, which was used for his other capes for the other figures, but here it's kind of pointless. He does have these little jetpack pieces right here though, which you could plug effects into, so he can like singe the hair off of his butt cheeks whenever he's flying, and his arms as well. I quickly went over the chainmail, but yeah, there is that small detail right there, and the plating looks fantastic. Again, very medieval looking, and the bolts going down the sides there. And you get these metal discs that cover some of the pins, but not the entire thing. Oh yeah, the latches on the inside of the arm. continuing that detail from the legs, look fantastic. Yeah, and the wrist has those bolts on the top as well, and all the hands have this really nice armor sculpt work to it. Something that's really cool about this figure is that it has a cloth goods cape, which I think looks pretty phenomenal, actually. It really, really blends in well with the plastic used, and it just doesn't feel out of place like a lot of other 6-inch Hasbro figures. And yeah, it just looks fantastic, and it really, really helps out with articulation. As the previous versions had that big old plastic cape that kind of hindered it, but this one, he's just able to move around freely. And going over accessories, we first have this head sculpt, his iconic mask, the bolts going all throughout it, the little speaking box right there, and you can see his eyes underneath, painted super, super well. Oh, and that neck too, I forgot to go over that. Yeah, that looks great as well. And the hood, I love how it drapes down. There's this little piece hanging off the side. And again, it continues that cloth texture from the chest and the skirt piece. He also comes with a Doombot head. This one just looks gnarly. It's like a Terminator almost. Yeah, it just looks freaking good. I love how the inside of the nostril is like painted black, and yeah, there's no shading, but like the lighting just makes it look like there's a ton of depth right there, and it is smooth all throughout. Ooh, my marbleized is a little bad there, but it's going to be facing forward, so I don't mind. You are also able to unplug those clasps and plug them in again to remove his cape. He also comes with 2 fisted hands, a trigger gripping hand, and an opened hand, which are able to hold his aforementioned pistol. Loving that piece. Not liking the mismatched hands though. I would have loved an open hand like this for this hand. That would have looked great, would have helped out with posing him with magic accessories, But with that out of the way, let's look at the articulation. First up, the Doombot head. He's able to look this far up and this far down. A really good range of movement, as there is a ball joint at the base of the neck. He also has some decent pivot and some side-to-side movement. And now for his Doctor Doom head. His head is able to move back this much and go forward a ton. Yeah, that ball joint at the bottom helps out a lot. He has some pivot, some side-to-side movement. His armor is able to move this far up, rotate all the way around. He has upper bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, and your standard wrist hinge moving up, down, all the way around. The torso articulation is pretty lacking for this figure, however. He's not able to move back at all. He's able to move forward a tiny bit. He has like no pivot at all. That side-to-side movement, that's like really the only thing you're going to be getting out of him, unfortunately. His leg is able to kick up this much, go out to the side that much. He's able to kick back a tiny bit. He has upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee that bends back this much, and his foot is able to move this far down, this far up, and he has some... Now for size comparisons, here he is next to Miss Marvel and Wolverine, Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman, The Thing and the Human Torch, Doctor Strange and Captain America, Scar and Superior Spider-Man, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Ghost Rider and Cyclops, Namor and Silver Surfer, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Darwin and Morbius, Grogu and Commander Gary, CT-4279 and Seth freaking Rollins, and finally, Jeff the Landshark and Spider Ham. Next up is the Iron Patriot, otherwise known as Norman Osborn. Norman was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man number 14 in July of 1964. 45 years later, Norman would be reinvented as the Iron Patriot in Dark Avengers issue number 1 in March of 2009, created by Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Diado. Let's just get the obvious out of the way. This figure uses a lot of parts from the Extremist suit Iron Man. It's just that torso, the arms, and the lower legs down here, and the feet as well, those hands too. Everything else, however, is brand new to this figure. At first glance, it kind of looks like just like a candy red, and it just overall just like kind of like retro inspired colors. But no, the red is actually metallic. I don't know if you can see like the little sparkles right there. Sorry for my hands, they look really nasty. Yeah, you can see the blue right here is very, very reflective, as well as this pearlescent white used up here for the legs. Yeah, just looking really good. Love the sculpt work, the cybernetic detailing right there. Ooh, that's kind of bad. And it continues up to here. The thigh cut on the previous Iron Patriot figure, it was much the same as the Extremist suit, where the thigh cut was underneath this boot part and it moved along with it. Here, however, the thigh cut is very obvious. It's right there, and it doesn't inhibit the articulation so much moving up. And you get these discs as well, which move out of the way, allowing him to kick out further to the side, which I think is a very nice play feature. Don't know if the first one had that. And of course, the torso, again, reuse from here, but different colors overall. And this upper piece is brand new. Don't know how I feel about the arc reactor just like moving in with the pecs. I kind of like the first version where it was protruding out. I'll show a picture on screen of it. And you get the back as well, just paintless all throughout. I kind of like this. It kind of reminds me of the stealth suit variant, my very first Marvel Legends figure. The arms are mostly the same. You could see painted detail right there. And down here, yeah, just the same parts as the Extremist suit. Nothing really to boast about here. Those shoulder pads do look good, though. It makes him appear much more bulky. But yeah, overall, a very fine sculpt. But let's go over the accessories now, starting with this helmeted head. Don't know if the black line going underneath is comic accurate. I can't remember. I'm not entirely big on it. It's kind of there. He comes with an unhelmeted Norman Osborn head, and yeah, I love the rose, and I especially love the eyes. I love the bags underneath, the green pupils, reflecting that Green Goblin within him. Yeah, just looks fantastic. He also has two opened hands with peg holes in the middle, which he's able to plug in his repulsor blast effects into. Yeah, and they just fire outwards like that. Love these as they are articulated as well. Also plug in to the bottom of his feet, and also plug in to the back jetpack for Dr. Doom, and because why not, also for Taskmaster. And he also comes with two fisted hands. But going over the articulation, the head is able to move up this much, go down that much. He has a bit of pivot and some side-to-side movement. His arm is able to move up just a tiny bit. He does have rotation at the shoulder, and he has an upper bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow that is able to bend in this much, and your standard wrist hinge moving up, down, all the way around. He has a diaphragm joint, allowing him to move back this much, go forward just a tiny bit. He has a really good pivot right there and side to side movement. His leg is able to kick out this much, go out to the side. Oops, let's move this one out of the way. Go out to the side this much, go back a really good amount. He has upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee that bends back this much, and his foot is able to move this far down, this far up. And now on to the size comparisons. Here is the Iron Patriot next to Miss Marvel and Astonishing Wolverine, Scar and Superior Spider-Man, Iron Fist and Luke Cage, Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider and Cyclops, Doctor Strange and Captain America, the Green Goblin and the Green Goblin, Extremist Suit Iron Man and Black Suit Spider-Man, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Darwin and Morbius, Grogu and Commander Gary, CT-4279 and Seth freaking Rollins, and finally Jeff the Landshark and Spider Ham. Now let's move on to Taskmaster. This character was created by David Michelini and George Perez and made his first full appearance in Avengers issue number 196 in June of 1980. I'm really enjoying his current run in the Deadpool comics at the moment. Really funny character. Let's hop straight into the sculpt and the paint apps. Love the boots here. They don't conform completely around the legs right here. You can see there's a bit of an opening, but I actually kind of like that. It gives it a bit of depth, and I love the sculpt of these boots. It has a leathery texture to it, but it's all white. Looking wonderful. There's like a seam line on the back of each one, even continuing onto the shoe. And there is seam lines for the shoe itself. And from there on out, it's just pretty much the Vulcan body mold. And much better than the previous Taskmaster, which used the Bucky Cap body mold. Yeah, that was okay for its time, but obviously this body is just so much better with its pinless joints in the knees and, of course, the elbows. But going back to the legs itself, love the musculature as it's not too overly ripped like Bucky Cap, but, you know, he does have muscle there. I love the holster right here. Not as much leather texturing as, say, Dr. Doom, but it is very clean. There are some seam lines at the bottom and the top, and the straps going around his legs are sculpted beautifully. Love the leather detail in those. And you can even see like up there, like really faintly, just some tiny, tiny seam lines all throughout the belt. And the buckles themselves are a nice bronze gold color. Yeah, it's able to hold his pistol in right there. And it continues onto the back as well. And this piece too is sculpted in a gold plastic. Looks fine. Don't know what the purpose of this is. If anyone knows, please let me know. Pouches. Yes, love me some pouches. Look how many there are. Ooh, and they're all sculpted really well. Again, lots of seam lines all throughout the leathery parts of this figure, even on the back of the belt right there. And you get this pouch right here, this pouch right here, pouch, 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 6 pouches. Yes, please. And of course, his belt buckle with his iconic Taskmaster logo right there. And it is painted. And I love the small circle going around. Really awesome detail. Now, going up again, Vulcan body mold. Really fine. Love this body mold so much. For a character like Taskmaster, you don't really have to do like such a unique sculpt as, say, Iron Patriot or Dr. Doom. He could be just pretty much straightforward, and that is what we get here. We get that more classic looking Taskmaster, and with the strap going across right here, belt buckle again. Love the sculpt of the leather parts of this figure, and the chest. This is really the only paint apps on the chest at all, and it is very crisp. I really do dig it, especially the matte orange being flat, not so like shiny. That looks great. And going down the arms, you can see like musculature on the shoulders, and down here the arms, that vein popping out. And yeah, at first I thought this was like dual molded. I was like, oh, crazy. But no, the blue is painted on top of the orange. You wouldn't really be able to tell though, because none of it shines through. With the gloves, ooh, the same detail as the boots, where it has that line going down the back of it. And it continues onto the glove right here, reaching around and ending with his pinky. Really great detail. And it does that on the front too, going around his pointing and his thumb. Yeah, just a really nice. Like Dr. Doom, he also has some clasps for his cape. However, these ones are not removable. The cape itself is, if you really want to, and there goes everything. Let's just look at it without the body. Inside of the cape is orange, while the outside is white, and loving that so much. I love the quiver added on to this. These pieces are sculpted or attached, so you cannot remove them, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this, and you can just plug it into the peg hole back here and put his head on top of that. Ooh, doesn't really want to sit that well, but that's fine. Yeah, and it looks phenomenal, all things considered. For accessories, Taskmaster comes with 2 fisted hands, an open C-grip hand, and a trigger gripping hand. Mismatching set of hands. Again, I do not like it. The trigger gripping hand is able to hold on to his pistol that is in his holster on the side. Really small gun. Kind of wish for a bigger piece to fit his hand. Regardless, though, I think it's sculpted very nicely. He also comes with a bow and arrow. I believe these are reused from the Danny Moonstar Walgreens exclusive figure. And it looks fantastic. The bowstring is a little too thick for my liking, but I understand why they didn't make it thinner. It could break, all that stuff. The arrow itself is molded with a red plastic for the feathers and then gold paint at the tip. Looks wonderful. And the bow itself, brown all throughout, and has that handle right there. Looking fantastic. What's cool about the arrow is that it is able to plug in to that quiver on the back, giving you a full set of arrows right there inside of that quiver. And last but not least, he also has his shield, which just clips onto the wrist hinge right here. It is the same thing we've been getting for the Captain America figures for years, since the days of the return of Marvel Legends. I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It just doesn't want to stay on today, really. The logo is upside down. Yeah, really wish they would have placed the logo, like maybe just like painted it a little differently, because it's really hard to have him like have his arm up like this and have the logo line up like that. You can only really get that effect when you have him holding it straight down like that. I don't know, am I tripping for no reason? Maybe, who knows. It also has this feature, this peg, and usually you plug it into the back, but you can't do it for this figure. So you can actually just put it in with his open secret pan, and he's able to just hold it like that. Now let's go over articulation. The head is able to move up this much and go down just a tiny bit. Yeah, the hood really inhibits a lot of movement. Just a little tiny bit of pivot and side-to-side movement. It pops out very easily. His arm is able to move up this much, and he has a butterfly shoulder joint, allowing him to move this far back and this far forward. He has rotation at the shoulder, upper bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow that's able to bend in this much, and your standard wrist hinge moving up, down, all the way around. He's able to bend this far back, this far forward, and he does have rotation at the waist, allowing his legs to move side to side. He is able to kick up this much, go out to the side a tiny bit, and go back a decent amount. He has upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee that bends back this much. His foot is able to move this far down, this far up, and he has some... For Taskmaster, here he is, next to Miss Marvel and Astonishing Wolverine, Scar and Superior Spider-Man, Doctor Strange and Captain America, Black Widow and Hawkeye, New Year Vow Spider-Man and Daredevil, Iron Fist and Luke Cage, Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider and Cyclops, Deadpool and Hydra Bob, Darwin and Morbius, Grogu and Commander Gary, CT-4279 and Seth freaking Rollins. Finally, Jeff the Landshark and Spider Ham. Alright, on to the final ratings and overall thoughts. First up, Dr. Doom. I'm going to give him a 8.5 out of 10. I'll give Dr. Doom here an 8.5 out of 10. Absolutely exquisite sculpt. Like, it looks phenomenal. One of Hasbro's best to this day. And that soft goods cape does a ton of great work. You know, you're just able to pose him a lot more better now than those old ones, and it actually matches up with the figure itself really, really well. And overall, I just love the colors all throughout this figure, and that Doombot head goes extremely hard. I absolutely love it. Yeah, but there are some drawbacks to this figure. Firstly, the accessories, as good as they are, the mismatching hands just annoys me to no end, and a lack of like science or magic effects. What are we doing here? This is Dr. Doom. The only thing he has for offense are his fists and that gun. And like, I don't know about you, but whenever I think about Dr. Doom, I think about him using magic and just something other than his fists and a gun. Come on, guys. We could have gotten so much better for this. If luckily, like, you are able to get pieces from other figures, put him onto this one, but still, like, you shouldn't have to. He should be coming with these effects anyways. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. Now it's Iron Patriot's turn. I think I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Yeah, just such a huge improvement upon that original Ironmonger Build-A-Figure Wave version. Like, the proportions are just so much better. Like, absolutely. And yeah, it's just a figure that we've been needing for a long time. It's just a little blandish, in my opinion. I'm just like not all too blown away by it as many others are in this community. Like, it's a decent figure. I think it is a very strongly made figure. However, I don't think it is like figure of the year contender worthy. It's just kind of there. The accessories are decent, however, and I love the metallic sheen all throughout the action figure. So yeah, I'll give Norman here an 8.5 out of 10. On to Taskmaster. I think I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Definitely my favorite figure from this box set. By far. Love the updated articulation from that Bucky Cap body mold to this Vulcan one. It's just incredible how much a butterfly arm joint can add to a figure. It has so much movement, and I think that's perfect for a character like Taskmaster. Comes with some really great accessories as well, but those accessories are not perfect. That gun is really, really small, just like undersized for this figure, honestly. And the mismatching hands is so incredibly frustrating. I really wish Hasbro would stop doing that because it just annoys me to no end. But my personal nitpicks out of the way, I think this is an extremely fun figure to pose around, and yeah, very deserving of a 9 out of 10 rating. But yeah, that'll do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Anything you can do to support the channel will be greatly appreciated. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye. The wrist and that. What an awful take. Excuse me. Looking phenomenal. Excuse me. All right, time for my. Comes with some really great. Please like, comment, subscribe.